Hey guys, so let's talk about if betas need a heater and a filter here. So this is my 20-gallon long. I have a female beta right there. She'll be moving around all throughout this video. She needs almost nonstop. Then I have 3 female Pallades and 3 female swordtails in this tank, along with 2 nearite snails to help keep the algae down. So let's first talk about the filter. That is the easier answer here. And that answer is yes, you do need a filter. Like with any other fish, they do make messes. A filter will help keep the tank nice and clean. And that way it puts less work on you as well. That we don't have to do as many water changes and stuff. So you definitely do want a filter. Now you want to make sure the filter is not too strong as to where it is pushing your fish around, or too weak to where it's not actually doing a good job. So you want to have an appropriately sized filter for the tank size. And again, make sure, because betas are not always the best of swimmers, especially longer finned betas, make sure the current isn't too strong to where they're getting pushed around and stressed out. If your beta is laying on the ground all the time due to the current, that means your current is just too strong, your filter is just too strong. So yes, you do need a filter, just make sure it's not too strong and make sure it's not too weak, especially if you have a long fin beta. Now, as far as heaters go, I would argue, yes, you should always have a heater in there, somewhere around 75 to 80 degrees. This also can depend on your climate or your room temperature. Again, I would argue, always keep a heater on, always have it set to, say, 75 degrees Fahrenheit here. Just make sure that if the temperature does go below that, the heater kicks on and it kicks it back up to whatever degree you want it at. Now, if your room temperature is always at 80 degrees and you have a heater set to 75 degrees, it's never going to kick on, but you still have that safeguard of it being at 75 degrees and having that safeguard of the heater being there just in case it does, for some reason, some weird reason, go below your 75 degree threshold there. So again, I would argue, yes, always have a heater on, but you guys really can ultimately decide, depending on your actual situation, your actual heat situation in your room and your water temperature, if you actually need it. But I personally always have one on, always set to around 75 degrees, just to make sure. Especially here, it's winter time and it's cold, which means at nighttime my room gets cold and the water temperature gets colder than it should. So heater just helps safeguard you against anything weird happening with the heat. So quick recap here. I would say yes, definitely have a filter. Like any other fish, you need a filter. And then I would argue, yes, have a heater just in case something goes weird. And especially if you're in a colder climate or your room temperature just isn't all that warm. So again, beta should be around 75 to 80 degrees or so. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully that was helpful. I appreciate you all watching. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys have a good one. Goodbye.